Good afternoon, sports fans. It's that time of year where playoffs are starting in football and college football is getting interested, so we'll get right into the picks. You got Southeast and Derby. I'm picking Derby.
Derby.
Garden City and East High. It's at home. I'm taking East.
East
had that nice win against Carroll, so I'm going with the Blue Aces.
We have West at Washburn Rural. I know nothing about Washburn Rural, but they're the higher ranked team. So I'm taking Washburn Rural.
I know a little bit about Washburn Rural, mainly where it's located, so I'll pick them.
I think there's going to be a trend of picking a lot of the home teams in these games, so I'm going to go with Washburn Rural as well.
Yeah, first round of playoffs can be a little difficult. But next up, we got South and Free State, which is out of Lawrence. Traditionally, they're a really good team. I'm taking Free State.
Yeah, the rumors have had it that Free State has a higher attendance level than KU football, so Free State.
That's actually not that impressive.
No,
It's probably true.
except last weekend when they called in fans
For
to the
free.
game. Yeah.
I too am going to go with Free State.
Next up is North and Manhattan. North only has one win. It's in Manhattan. I'm going with Manhattan.
Manhattan is good, so this is Manhattan.
Do they get more attendance at their games than the college?
They do not. They do have high attendance, but not
Ah.
more than K-State.
Okay. I'm going to go with Manhattan as well. Just checking.
But nice try. I appreciate
Good fact check.
it.
Next up, we got Campus and Junction City. I'm taking Junction City.
I'll pick Campus.
I'd like to pick Campus, but I'm going to go with Junction City.
We then have Eisenhower and Hayes. Hayes has been playing really well. Eisenhower's had a mediocre season. It would be an upset, but I'm taking Hayes.
Hayes is good. Hayes.
I'm going to give Hayes a shout out. Last week they came to town and played Northwest, a late season out of conference game, and it was a heck of a game, but unfortunately for them, the Grizzlies prevailed. But they're really good. Best player in the state, going with Hayes.
Next up, we have Goddard and Capon. Capon's on a roll. I don't see any way Goddard's going to be able to beat them this Friday, so I'm taking Capon.
Yeah, it's been good this year. Capon's been good, so I'll pick Capon.
Capon's in the same bracket as Northwest, so I hope Capon wins.
Next up, we got Heights and Mays South. I think this is probably the best game of all the playoff games. Mays South is reeling from a few losses, but they lost to Derby and Mays and Hayes. Heights lost to some other teams that weren't the caliber of them, but they've also beat some teams. So it's going to be very interesting, but I'm going with the home team. I'm going with Mays South.
To steal some of Jim's lines, Mays South has some really good losses, and so I think that speaks to their strengths. I'm picking Mays South.
Good analysis.
Yeah. Did I steal your thunder?
Oh no,
Okay.
it's there. I agree with everything that's been said. Going with the Mavericks.
Next up, we got Valley Center and Northwest. I think Northwest is going to be way too strong in this game. I'm taking Northwest.
Northwest.
Never pick against my Grizzlies.
Next, we have Salina South and Andover. Salina South, I'm not sure, has won a game. Andover's playing really well this year. I'm going with the Trojans.
Andover.
This home of Laura's son's future school.
Yeah, hopefully.
Going to go with the Trojans.
Lots of moving parts there.
Next up, we got Newton and Mays. Mays has been playing really well. The last few games, I'm taking Mays.
Mays.
Curious to see what Mays is going to do in the playoffs. They got some good kids there, so Mays.
Next up, we got Hutch and Bishop Carroll. Hutch is having a mediocre season. Bishop Carroll's coming off of a loss, which was an upset loss, so I think they'll be hungry. I'm taking the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, I'll pick Bishop Carroll. I think that was a good time for a loss if they were getting one this year.
That loss really hurt their seedings. It put them in a pretty tough
Yeah.
bracket. I think they're going to play Mays in the second round. So, but I'm going to go with Bishop Carroll in this game.
Next up, we got Ulysses and Mulvane. Mulvane's been on a roll. They've been playing really well, especially towards the end of the season. I'm taking Mulvane.
Yeah, and this is a long trip to travel. I believe it's at Mulvane for Ulysses to come, so that can affect it too. And Mulvane is my alma mater. So
Going with Laura's school.
Next up, we got Wellington and Andover Central. Andover Central's been playing really well as the season progressed here, and Wellington again is a team that's mediocre this year. I mean, there could always be upsets through here. I just don't see it in this game. I'm taking Andover Central.
yeah, Andover Central.
Higher seed Andover Central.
Next up, we got Hugoton and Andale. Andale came off the best win they've had all season, beating Collegiate, who was the number 2 seeded team or number 2 ranked team in 3A. Andale's going to roll over Hugoton this weekend.
Yep, Andale here too.
I just learned where Hugoton is located, so I'm going to go with Andale.
Clearwater and Cheney. Cheney's undefeated. They're on a roll. They're going to be too strong, so I'm taking Cheney.
Yeah, Clearwater is not as good this year, so Cheney.
I'm curious to see how Cheney does later in the bracket. I don't think they played a lot of competition this year, but I'm definitely going to go with them. But I want to see how they do later on in the tournament.
Next up, we got Pratt and Collegiate. excuse me, Collegiate's coming off of a loss, but it's to a good team. Pratt got beat pretty well by Cheney. Down the road, it's going to be Cheney and Collegiate on the same side, so that's where a real test is going to come for both of them in the playoffs, but I'm taking Collegiate.
Collegiate.
Pratt's had some strong teams in the past, but I think Collegiate will get the better of them.
Next up, we got Garden Plain and Haven. Haven's just not very good this year. Garden Plain is having a decent season. I'm taking Garden Plain, although it's at Haven.
Yeah. Garden Plain.
I agree with the group.
Next up, we got college. We got Texas and Baylor. It's at Baylor. Texas has not been playing very well. Baylor has been playing pretty well, so I'm taking Baylor.
Yeah, I just have no idea. I'm going to pick Texas, but it'll be tough at Baylor.
This is a tough one for me to pick. Baylor's playing good. They play good at home, but Texas has a better roster, so I'm going to go with Texas.
Next up, we got Iowa State and West Virginia. I think this will be another good game. It's in West Virginia, so that'll make it a better game, or a closer game, I think, but I still think Iowa State's too strong.
Yeah, I think Iowa State's done a decent job this year of at least hanging on, so I think they'll do it again.
I think that's a good point. And they did have a nice win against Oklahoma State last week,
did.
and Brees is picking up steam, so I'm going to go with Iowa State.
Next up, we got Texas Tech and Oklahoma. Texas Tech is coming off of a loss to Kansas State when they were up 14-0 3 minutes into the game. Fired their coach. They got too much controversy going on. Oklahoma did not have a stellar game against KU, but I'll stick with Oklahoma.
Yeah, I don't really know that it's flattering to be the team that results in a team firing their coach. But yes, that did happen. So Oklahoma, even though KU gave them fits last weekend, that has happened to Oklahoma before. I still think Oklahoma. Their quarterback made some fantastic plays and really, kept him going.
You stole my thunder. I was going to do the whole getting their coach fired because they lost to a team like K-State, but you beat me to it.
Well, you should know because Nebraska, that probably happens.
Well, no. But who was it?
Texas Tech and Oklahoma.
Oh, talk about a team that's hanging on, Oklahoma.
Yes.
Literally every game they hang on, and they're winning now because of talent. When they if they make the playoffs, the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Ohio States, they'll.
Unfortunately, I agree. Yeah.
Next up, we got TCU and Kansas State. I think this is going to be a really good game. TCU's no pushover. They've been playing pretty well. I picked against Kansas State last week and explained the reason I did that is hoping to turn their season around. And guess what? They won, came back and won. So I'm going with K-State again for the rest of the year.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for turning it around. That first half was awful. So as long as K-State plays their second half team from last week, it's K-State all the way.
Good motivational work.
Oh, yeah, it's all about this show.
And I think Kleiman said something about being nice or something.
Positive press.
Positive, yes. Good stuff there. But I picked that upset, and I'm going to stick with them again this week, so I'll go with K-State.
Next up, we got Kansas and Oklahoma State. I didn't watch any of the game, but was amazed KU was up 10-0 and was pretty much up until the fourth quarter. So they must have played decent.
They did. I watched it.
They don't have a chance against Oklahoma State, in my opinion. I'm picking Oklahoma State.
That was a very interesting strategy as well, calling in fans at halftime, come in for free, putting it out on the radio network. You gotta hand it a little bit to that, but it's not at home this time, so doesn't usually give them an advantage. But Oklahoma State.
The Cowpokes are rolling this one pretty big.
You want to take the last game?
Ah, yes. They're due for a win. Purdue did beat a very good Iowa team, so if we win this game by proxy, it's a heck of a win. So going with Huskers.
You started off, oh yes.
Because I'm just waiting for...
Did not exude confidence. I'm picking the train, so I'll let you go.
Taking the train.
No, I covered it.
Oh, God.
So Nebraska had a bye last week. And, do the Nebraska fans chalk that up as a win to be able to compete in the Big Ten? Or
Oh, they're going to compete all right.
Okay. So
at some point, maybe.
At some point.
Didn't know really anything about Purdue this year. Then they pulled the upset against Iowa. Watched part of that game. They actually played pretty well, and it was in Iowa. Do I think Nebraska's probably going to win this game? Yes.
They should.
But I'm not picking them. So I'm going to pick Purdue for the upset.
Yeah, they should win this game. And Purdue is not great other than that one game.
They have a
So
great engineering school.
engineering wins football games.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, is it like train engineering?
It could be.
Okay.
I'm not for sure on that.
Locomotive, whatever
The
the
whole
term is.
Boilermaker thing?
Yeah.
There you go. Well, that ends the show for this week, and unfortunately, Jimmy is winning 165 to 30
Oh, no.
with 38 losses, and I got 154 wins with 49 losses, and I do not see me making it up this year. So I might go out on a limb on a bunch of stuff at this point. My record's not going to improve. So, but again, the playoffs are starting. It's absolutely fall weather. Hopefully, the weather holds on for Friday night, so we can get some good football in. And I hope you all have a safe and fantastic Halloween.